switch and use the term greater reality, because these people are coming back from these near-death experiences claiming to have witnessed something that they call more real than real, or a greater reality, or sometimes I call it a hyper reality. And they say that that space, that reality, makes this one look like a shadow world or a dream. And but these testimonies of greater realities are happening at a consistent rate, which means they're predictable, which means you can predict for a greater reality. And if the answer is, if a person wants to be purely materialistic and say that it's all in your head, it's a thing that happens in your head, well then, therefore, our physiology somehow can create a greater reality. And that's the basic early premise of the beginning of Neo-Swedenborgianism, is that if you say that Swedenborg's revelations were all in his head, or if you say that the NDE is all in the person's head, you place it in space and time. So now you're defining where it is and what it is, and so that gives it a certain reality, a physiological reality. And that's all I started with this Neo-Swedenborgianism. And my very first episode I read from J. Hewitt Mackenzie, because what you end up with is this spiritualistic kind of template. So the spiritualists were inspired by Swedenborg. Swedenborg published in the 1700s. Spiritualists started publishing in the 1800s. And so Swedenborg was a great inspiration to them. And so it's almost like they extrapolated on his ideas. And that's it. So all I was saying was that, well, if this more real than real place is part of our physiology, or in other words, if it's only in my head, well, I have a head, and hopefully you do too. And so then you have this map of the spirit lands in spiritualism, which is based on a lot of Swedenborg's ideas. And so you have this revelation that spirit world land is a part of our own physiology. Okay, that's all I was saying at the beginning. That to me was enough to start this whole show. And that's how I started it. What I did not know is that I was going to stumble upon this fact that J. Hewitt Mackenzie nailed the dimensions of the Van Allen belts, okay, in miles above Earth. And that begs the question that if he's exactly right about that, what else is he exactly right about? That whole description of the spirit lands and summer land and buildings made of gems, right? Is that all exactly right too?